I think the problem that I saw with like crypto and Web3 is that a lot of enthusiasts were saying like, crypto is the future, right? And I mean, like, you could argue that part of that is true, but it is the future because of its use cases in like these other two fields. And like AI is the future because of its use cases alongside these other two developments and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it seems like with crypto, it's all dependent on faith, because with our currency, the US currency, fiat, it's not really backed by anything anymore. At one point, it was backed by the gold standard, right? But now, as people are losing faith in, U.S. currency or just currency in general, it seems that that's why people are gravitating more towards crypto, and they want that decentralization of getting rid of these financial institutions controlling their money and don't want dependency on that.
But I just want to stop because like I think that's the big misunderstanding with crypto. Like when I tell people that I work in crypto or work with crypto, people assume like, oh, you're investing, right?
Right.
And that couldn't be further from the truth, right? So I think there is the world of cryptocurrencies, which was like the first iteration, the first developments of like a blockchain as a technology to say like, hey, we can create a money system that is not dependent on any one bank, right? That is like a legitimate use case that I think works very well in the world of like Bitcoin, in the world of like, Ethereum has USDC, which is like this token that is pegged to the US dollar. So I don't need to go through a Western Union or a Chase in order to like transfer money to my family in Palestine. I could just do that instantaneously. That said, though, that was like iteration number one. And then there was all this like scam technology that popped up around it, SafeMoon,
don't bring up SafeMoon around
all these tokens that people are investing and still continue to invest in. That's basically just straight gambling. It's based off faith. There's nothing there, right? But then that technology was used for, okay, in order to create a money system, we needed to create a way that like people could verifiably understand that I have value and I'm sending that to you, and I'm like subtracting 1 Bitcoin and adding 1 Bitcoin to Zain's account, and everybody can see that, and we don't need a middleman to verify that, right? That technology that we call a blockchain is like also useful for all property rights across all of the internet, right? So I have any sort of data. I have an account, let's just say, on Facebook. I want my Facebook account and all of the data associated with it to come with me when I log into, Twitter. And my entire, social network and graph and my follower count and all of that, I want all of that data to move with me in a verifiable way without Facebook owning that data, right? With crypto, that's possible. But I think people, you hear that word, they immediately think like, oh, we're investing in currencies.
Right.
But when we say like, oh, crypto and AI and spatial tech are like all of these things are dependent on one another. Spatial tech is not dependent on me being able to invest in SafeMoon. It's dependent on like that underlying technology that makes it possible to verify like data and transactions on the internet that could then be used in these other worlds that are no longer like owned by any one corporation.
And I think that's why within the crypto world, the word crypto, I feel has not been used as often as now Web3. And I think it's to differentiate from the fact that, and me being someone who just understands crypto on a very high level or, a very average level of understanding crypto, it's like, okay, back in 2021 or back in 2018, 2019, when those spikes in Bitcoin and all these other, other coins, when those spikes started happening, we started paying attention to it and saying, oh, this is a good way to make money. But what we don't realize is, there's a very legitimate technology, a use case for this technology, that there's this universal ledger that everybody on the internet or everybody that is participating in this ledger recognizes that, hey, once this transaction happens, it's written in history on this ledger that anybody can access, and we're all consistently together verifying that this transaction happened. Where that becomes a little skeptical in certain cases is, such as with FTX, is what is the legitimacy of that ledger? How does everybody agree that, just because you put a ledger on a website or on I don't even know how you access the ledger. I just knew on my Coinbase app, okay, I sell, buy and sell. But how do we verify that if some new coin comes out that it's legit, or some new wallet that it's legit?
And this is the big thing, right? Like these, so the FTXs, the Binances, the Coinbases of the world are centralized exchanges, right? They're places where I can give US dollars and receive crypto in return, but they are actually not, outside of the fact that like I am receiving crypto, they are not fully built on a blockchain, right? So all of those benefits of using crypto, you don't get by using a centralized exchange. You get by buying on a centralized exchange and then taking those tokens out and putting them into my own wallet that I have custody of, right? And I don't want to get into like the details of that, but my point is that like with something like FTX,
wait, do get into the details. So you're telling me the money in my Coinbase right now is not actually mine?
No.
Wow.
Not your, there's a phrase, it's not your keys, not your coins. So like if you don't have the keys to your wallet and your tokens are not in that wallet, they're not, that's Coinbase owns that and basically is just giving you an IOU.
So I do have a Coinbase wallet.
Yeah.
So
Coinbase
I own that.
Anything in your Coinbase wallet, you own they have no ability to seize
So I'm good.
You're good. You're chilling. You're chilling. But FTX did not have an FTX wallet. Right? FTX, everything was owned by the company. It was on their balance sheet, right? And when I went and bought Bitcoin on FTX, they were just giving me an IOU to say like, hey, when you sell it, we'll sell it at this new price based off of what you bought it at. But FTX still owned everything, right? And what FTX was doing is like, you were giving them money to buy Bitcoin. They were taking that money and then investing it on your behalf on the back end, and you didn't know that at all. They lost all the money that people had put into their, their platform. And then when people went to sell, there was nothing to give them.
Because they were, the catch that they hooked everybody on FTX was those super high interest rates, right?
Exactly. So in that world, right, it is, crypto in that people were buying and selling tokens, but it's not crypto in that people are using the underlying blockchain technology and like all of its benefits, right? And that's why people started saying, oh, Web3, like you said, to like differentiate these worlds, but there's still like massive confusion.
Right.
And I think to that point, like any further adoption, like what my company does, what others are doing, is going to have like crypto rails that are sort of abstracted away, so people get the benefits of what is happening, and on a high level, what I'm like explaining to be the benefits, they're able to reap those. But you don't know like that it's on Ethereum. You don't know that it's using a blockchain. You don't know that you have a wallet associated with your email account. Like everything is sort of abstracted away. Otherwise, people are just going to assume that like, oh, it's crypto, it's a scam, it's SafeMoon, right? Those are two like very different things.
Yeah. Well, I do think that when it comes to the average person, unless you take them through a long walkthrough within Web3 or blockchain in general, they're gonna have a very limited understanding, and they're just gonna think about, oh yeah, this is just a way for me to invest my money. And even same thing you could say about the stock market. Do majority of people actually know how the stock market works, how the price changes? Right. So it's like we're just investing our money in blind faith and trying to make up a way that, oh yeah, I'm very bullish about this investment that I'm making, but you don't understand on the back end what's actually happening.